We are live. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Blake Ruffino. This is Are You Serious Sports. We hope that you guys are making it a good one. We know that we are as well. We got a huge show in store for you tonight. The College World Series, Game 1. The finals, Game 1 is underway. It kind of worked great in our favor. The rain actually helped us for once. Vandy versus Mississippi State. I had a thought about that. I posted on Twitter. Interesting, two teams from the South. The final four teams from the South are in the Final Four of the College World Series. I had a thought. We'll talk on this. We'll continue to monitor as Jack Leiter and the Vandy boys versus them dogs. We'll keep in touch with that. Jay Johnson is announced killing the press conference. I mean, absolutely just killing the press conference. There are some things in there that we're going to pull out from the press conference. We're going to talk about his approach and what he wants hitters to do at the plate. I thought was very key. Some things in recruiting that I think LSU just quite honestly has been lackluster in. Yes, they've got some top recruits, but as I've kind of mentioned, in my opinion, they've also missed on some key guys in the state. The Texas catcher from Moss Bluff, the kid in Barb, the West kid from Barb. I mean, the list continues to go on, but we'll talk on that. Something that broke today, it kind of was getting rumored last night, but then was confirmed today. Jimmy Details was the first to report it. Dair Rosenthal entering the transfer portal. What does it mean for LSU? You have a starting left tackle that will be out. What does it mean? Does LSU have the depth for that position? I'm going to start with the Dair Rosenthal thing because I think it's something that we just need to start off with, and then we'll talk some Jay Johnson. God, look at that Mississippi State crowd. Massive, bro. Massive. The game of college baseball is growing. I'm going to start on Jay Johnson to start off with. Start with Dair Rosenthal, talk about it very quickly, then we'll get to some Jay Johnson, then some more football talk. But before we get started, guys, as always, let's take a couple of quick comments. Ryan Guidry says, we are live. David Stingley Jr. says, let's get it. See, I think Stingley, there's no T in his name, but, you say DSJ enough, you think David Stingley Jr. So, David, I hope that you like that. Robert Plaisant says, we are live. What a great press conference by Jay Johnson. Very impressive. Adam Contreras also says that Coach Jay Johnson dominated a press conference, and that's pretty much the theme. Lyle says it. Colin says it. Brian says it. So I agree. I absolutely agree. All right, so let's pay some bills around this thing very quickly, and then we will talk about Dair Rosenthal and get into some baseball, College World Series, and some football. You can put your questions inside the comments at hashtag Ask Blake. So let's do that. Let's pay some bills. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. We got a lot to talk about. None better than our good friends over at GM Varno & Sons. GM Varno & Sons has faithfully been serving your Denham Springs and Baton Rouge area for over 62 years. With their highly trained technicians, there's absolutely nothing that they can't do. RV repair, big rig overhauls, motorhome chassis, routine maintenance, tire rotations, tire sales. No job is too big or too small over at GM. Give them a call today at 225-664-9992. That's 225-664-9992. And tell them your good friend, Mr. Blake Ruffino, sent you by. When you go over to 2500 Florida Boulevard in Denham Springs, Louisiana, and our good friends over at betonline.ag. Guys, BetOnline with the mobile betting getting passed in the state of Louisiana, you need to go sign up for betonline.ag. It is the quickest and easiest way for you to get all of your mobile betting in. So the next tip-off, face-off, pitch, go over to betonline.ag. They got the parlays. They got everything that you will want, and you'll get 50% off of your first welcome bonus on that first deposit. Again, that's betonline.ag. Betonline.ag. All right, let's get this rolling. We'll put your comments in here. Just put the hashtag Ask Blake. We'll get into them. This Nookie says Thunder 6. Let's talk about Dair Rosenthal very quickly. The Dair Rosenthal, so there were some rumors that started to come up late Saturday and then into Sunday a little, and then it kind of really took off Sunday night. So I'm going to tell you what I was told, and I think it's pretty much news. Everybody knows it by now, what's going on with Dair Rosenthal. In Dair Rosenthal's past, the LSU starting left tackle has had issues with failing drug tests at LSU, and today was no different. Saturday was no different. Last week was no different. The interesting thing about Dair, I'm going to tell you what I think about his situation, and then let me rip on LSU a little bit. So I think that Dair's a very talented individual. I think that Dair is an individual that could have played himself into a top 2-round pick. I think that he's got this. Well, I don't think. He has the size. He has the athleticism. I thought he had good feet. At the end of the season last year, he kind of really turned it on. That Florida game, when you watch the film, and you can remember, because if you go back and watch it, if you remember, the fog was so bad, they had to use the camera from right behind the line of scrimmage, and it showed you a better look at how much Dair Rosenthal was dominating at the line of scrimmage. That's one thing that I saw with him, is he got a lot better in the running game. I thought he had a really good spring. Max at times was a little quick-footed and trying to get outside the pocket. I thought Dair held his own against B.J. Ojulari, and I could pull up the plays if you guys want to debate that, because I've already have individuals that want to debate that with me. I can pull up and show you the plays. I don't want to rip on him, but I'm just going to say this in general. So this isn't on Dair. We've seen individuals, and Tyrann Mathieu, that everybody remembers, the Honey Badger, spoke on this religiously, came back to LSU, gave millions of dollars to LSU, and every time he spoke at LSU, he said the same thing. I wish that I would have had I don't want to say better community, but I wish that I would have had the maturity about me that when I went out there, I would have put my team first. I would have looked at my future and understood what I had in front of me. Now, Tyrann Mathieu has become a great player, and he always was a great guy, just had some missteps along his way at LSU, a transcendent type of player at LSU. Dair Rosenthal isn't on that level of Tyrann Mathieu, but he's a guy that can definitely play in the NFL. I saw a lot of people ripping on the LSU policy, although where I agree that we should take a better look at this LSU policy and what they do on things like weed. So I even looked up the NCAA weed policy. It says this, I'm quoting from the NCAA. The NCAA does not regularly test student athletes for marijuana throughout the academic year. Instead, the NCAA advises individuals of the university to conduct their test, which they will go on to the NCAA doing exactly what they do. In their policy, here's their banned substances: cannabis, marijuana, synthetic marijuana. Here's something even more interesting that I kind of a little sidetrack: dietary supplements and masking agents, stimulants such as caffeine are banned from the NCAA. So let's not act like the NCAA doesn't have a double standard, but they're not actively asking the universities to conduct this. They just want to do it. They want you to do it at your own rate, at your own speed, in your own time frame, due to what's going on in your school. Now, as Vandy and Mississippi State kicked this game off as a 1-1 count to Tanner, that's a good pitch by Leiter. But regardless, this isn't an NCAA thing. And a little bit to this extent, this isn't necessarily an LSU thing. Guys, he's failed 4 drug tests. At what point do we sit here and say, kids, stay off of it? I mean, you have such a bright future. I mean, that's like me saying, hey, guys, I could be a first-round pick, but I can't put down alcohol. I can't put down something. I can't, and it's no different than doing weed versus having bad people in your camp that are advising you bad things. So this is a very unfortunate for Dair Rosenthal, and I do wish him the best. I absolutely do wish him the best. Now, LSU should be ashamed of themselves, and I'm going to be a little honest. So should, I'm not going to say Scott Woodward, but, man, you've been here for more than 2 years. You did talk about this policy on weed when you were introduced as a new athletic director, as Jack Leiter strikes out his first batter on a 2-seam fastball. But you talked about getting this changed. Guys, it hasn't changed. Kids in this generation want to smoke weed. It's decriminalized. I don't know what to tell you. Now, LSU should be ashamed of themselves, but I also do think that Dair Rosenthal should have known that he was extremely talented. And look, he fought to get back in LSU. He fought religiously to get back in LSU. I do hope that there's a way he can get back, but I don't think that there is. So now what happens to LSU at left tackle. Let's not act like left tackle is not a big position. I preach O-line religiously on this show, being a former one of them. It's not as simple as kicking Cam Wire over there and say, have at it. I think it's going to be an absolute battle. I think you do have guys like Cam Wire. I think you got guys like Marlon Martinez, Marcus Dumerville that could go over there and make a shot at starting at left tackle. You do return 4 guys. I don't like that you don't have the cohesiveness, but I do have faith in Brad Davis that he's going to have these guys ready to roll. So I hate it for Dair Rosenthal. Again, I've said that as much as I can, but at some point you got to stay off of it, man. I mean, with guys, he had millions of dollars on the line, and not saying that an LSU team, damn lighter, gonna beat that out. Not going to say he's not going to make the NFL. He's going to make it to the NFL, but he could have had a really good season and worked his way up because it's LSU. Bear Grange says, hashtag Ask Blake. Man, I got to say, I like old Jay. Can't wait. Yeah, I thought that Jay Johnson, the new head baseball coach, really killed the press conference. The biggest thing for me, and you don't hear many baseball coaches talk about this, Jay Johnson is a guy whose dad comes from a really prestigious football background. You know, he said that I'm going to ask Coach O if he needs somebody to teach him how to run the wing tee or goal line package, because that's what my dad did for his entire life. He's bringing a football mentality to recruiting, to baseball. And I don't see the negatives behind doing that. I do not see the negatives behind Jay Johnson wanting to get elite recruiters from this state and guys that can recruit going out nationally and doing it inside your state. Guys, if you can get the kids inside your state and you can go to states like California, like they've already done with it, not even a week of this being announced, and you can go to other places like Florida where you get a guy like Dylan Cruz and others, you can build a championship winning team. Now, how good can this team pitch? Who's his pitching coach going to be? I hear some names, and I know that they're doing some strategic things and trying to get these guys announced, but I do hear that it's going to be possibly at latest by the end of the week. There are some names that are still floating out there. Roderick Dugas says, Blake Ball, it's fitting to be lit tonight. Yeah, it's going to be lit. It's going to be lit. I just feel bad I really do feel bad for Dair Rosenthal. Get out of here, Ball. Boom. Jack Leiter just got taken Yahtzee. All right, Vandy, you don't belong there. No way. I shouldn't say that. It's not Vandy's fault. It's not Vandy's fault that they're there. They didn't test NC State. So we'll see. Henry says, did you get your show approved by compliance? You know, they after everybody. Yeah, look, I do get that. Like, I get the compliance part of it, Henry, and I get the compliance part about LSU. And this is an ongoing discussion and something that LSU needs to change as as the U.S. is decriminalizing marijuana. Why isn't LSU? I mean, look, you're testing kids a lot and they keep failing it. Now, there are parts of me that do believe that Dair should have kind of known better. You know, like, guys, it is illegal per NCAA and per your university. You are an athlete. You do get tested. You've been there for multitudes of years, and you know how this works. You know how the testing works. I mean, it's been the same ever since I remember. Hell, I remember you get a break during the summer, and they test you right before you leave for the first week of July when your workouts are done. What a catch. Oh, he didn't make it. So this isn't something different, and Dair's been there. But, you know, should he be a guy that's still on the team because of LSU compliance? More than likely. And that's the sucky part about it. John Ditch says, hashtag Ask Blake, Jay sold me today. That he did. He sold me too. Nicholas says, is Darius Days making an announcement this week? I do hear good things about Darius Days. I hear a lot of good things about Darius Days. I'm going to leave it there. I think Darius Days will make an announcement this week. Brandon Reese says, I want to see Cardell Thomas and Anthony Bradford play this year. I think you're going to see Anthony Bradford play this year. In reference to Cardell, I don't think that you will. If Cardell is playing, then either one of two things happen. Either he made a huge, and I'm not talking about little, I'm not talking about medium, I'm not even talking about extra large. I'm talking about 4X, mama makes the best potato salad in the entire country kind of stride here. Okay? Like, my guy's got some work he's got to do. Anthony Bradford, not so much. The kid is a bulldozer. I think I want to give him the nickname of hashtag the bulldozer. That kid can play, y'all. That kid can play. I don't think that kid can't play left tackle. I mean, he's a guard. I mean, I think Martinez or Dumerville. I know that you got Cam Wire, who's an experienced guy that could possibly. I think you put either Martinez or Dumerville there. Let them battle it out. Blaine Smith says, I heard they're interested in J-Bob, the Texas Tech pitching coach, who is J-Bob Thomas. I do hear that his name is on the list. Now, whether they go Rob Childress, J-Bob Thomas, J-Bob sounds like a Louisiana name. I mean, T-Bob and J-Bob. T-Bob and J-Bob walk into a bar. They ask for a bowl of crawfish. I don't know how to finish that joke. I don't know how to finish that joke. Craig Schilling says, the game of college baseball is growing until the NCAA kills it. Hashtag Rudy Poos of the week. I think we're going to make a segment on Mondays called hashtag Rudy Poos of the week. Guys, give me a thumbs up in the comments if you want to do a segment on Mondays of hashtag Rudy Poos of the week. We will let you listen inside the comments and you give us the Rudy Poos of the week. I think that'd really work. John says, do you think Dair is transferring in his decision or Coach O telling him to so he don't have to kick him off the team? I don't think that he has a choice. He doesn't have a choice. Jacob Marceau says, are you hearing anything about baseball assistants? Yeah, but nothing concrete. You know, I've asked for people to confirm some things that I hear. I know that, and look, the last time that we talked, I told you Thursday, I think the last show we did was on Thursday, or no, maybe Saturday, but that I thought that Chad Kaye would be a good fit. Chad Kaye, per myself and Kendall Rogers. So if you don't believe me, you can believe Kendall Rogers, I guess. Also has said that Chad Kaye is in that role of someone that could potentially be a part of the staff. Now, he wouldn't be a traditional hitting coach like he has been, but he would be a damn good recruiter. Let's see what Bradfield does here. Guys, this guy Bradfield, people trying to tell me that he was better than Trey Morgan. No, he's not. No, he's not. I mean, he's a great kid. He is not better than at least not this year. He wasn't better than Trey Morgan. Didn't happen. I see some comments in here saying stop smoking weed. Yeah, but I mean, look, university policies at other schools are not this big. I mean, we do have a large thing of decriminalizing weed across the United States, and you can't. I mean, look, I do get that part of this is on Dair, guys. I mean, we can't not say that Dair Rosenthal, I don't want to say can't be blamed, or because I don't really want to say that, but because he still did the action. But you are at a recruiting disadvantage. I mean, Eric says it right here, and I think that he's right. You are at a recruiting disadvantage. That's something that not a lot of people are going to talk about. Guys, you are at a recruiting disadvantage. Whether you like it or not, you can hate it all that you want. All that you want. You are at a recruiting disadvantage. Whether you agree with the marijuana and the legalization of it or you disagree, it doesn't matter. You're at a disadvantage. With name, image, and likeness, states are doing all the same thing, so no one's on a different playing field. No one's on a different playing field, and weed's something that's not that. I do wish that the SEC and or the NCAA would come up with a policy. Now, the NCAA, you can't go. I don't think the NCAA is going to do it, but the NCAA contradicts itself. Okay, I mean, guys, caffeine is against the rules per NCAA standards as a stimulant. Like, I just looked this up. In and of itself, it's against the rules. So the NCAA, screw them. Henry says, hashtag ask Blake, who will win the SEC first, Kim Mulkey or Jay Johnson? I do think that Jay Johnson, I'm gonna cop out here, and I'm gonna say Jay Johnson, mainly due to the fact that I think that he's got more talent on his team right now than Kim Mulkey does. However, I could easily, and one of the takes, Henry, that you're asking here, I probably could easily, be wrong there. I mean, look, again, you do have a lot of talented kids on this baseball staff, but you do get girls like Moon, other recruits that are coming over here. She's got to rebuild. Guys, she's got to rebuild this from the ground up. I do think that they're a tournament team, just basically easily what she did off on the recruiting trail. But in reference to winning the SEC, in my opinion, and again, I could easily be wrong on this one, I do think that Jay Johnson is somebody that can win it. Look, guys, he went to the College World Series at Arizona in his first season. And I mean, he's in the finals in his first season at Arizona. So let's not act like he hasn't come in before in the programs and had serious success before. Bundy says a kid transferring because he is punished for failing a drug test is ridiculous. Well, Bundy, that's not why he's transferring. I think that he's going to be kicked out of LSU. I don't, he got kicked out the last time. He hired a law firm. And look, before I say this, we said this on the show when he got kicked out, like episode 100. When he got kicked out the first time, I was telling you that he had hired a law firm to get him back in LSU. This isn't anything new. So when I say he hired a law firm, don't act like we didn't talk about this last football season, because we did. That's what hurts. That's what hurts. So Bradfield's gone here. Nope, they're going to pick him off. David Singler says, hashtag Ask Blake, do you think he will keep our talent in state? I think he's going to do everything he can, meaning Jay Johnson. I think he's going to do everything he can to keep the state and the talent in state. Guys, when you got individuals that are signed with Mississippi State, I keep beating that over the head. I mean, but you can't let that happen. Mississippi State's in the College World Series, and your best recruit in the state is committed to them. So Jay Johnson's got some work he's got. You can't let that happen. Guys, that's like individuals like Leonard Fournette or who are other, Will Campbell or Walker Howard. That's like them leaving the state. You can't let that happen. You cannot. Now, it's good when you get kids like Dylan Cruz to come in. But I'm not, everybody says, well, Blake, Nolan Kane got Dylan Cruz. He's losing kids in state, though. That's getting very talented kids from out of state that don't go in the draft and come to your team is an added bonus. You got to lock your perimeters down, right? It's like, I was about to give a bad analogy, but you just got to lock your state down. I was about to say something about, I don't know. Roderick says Cam Wire and Doomerville going to be a nice little battle. I agree with that. Look, I'm very high on Cam Wire. I thought that kid should, quite honestly, probably stayed at guard when Chasen Hines came back, because it looked like Chasen Hines was a step too slow, and not because of athletic ability, but mainly because of he was just still hurt, and then he had surgery at the end of the year and things like that. So I fully believe that the ridicule that Chasen Hines took, the kid was still hurt. I mean, guys, let's not forget Chasen Hines. Bradfield's gone. They're going to do a hit and run. They're going to get out here, though. Let's not act like that Chasen Hines didn't go up against Derek Brown when he was a freshman and dominate Derek Brown for 3 quarters. I mean, that kid has the talent. I mean, go back and watch that 2018 film where he dominated. Understand what I'm telling you. He didn't do good against Derek Brown. He didn't do mediocre. That kid dominated Derek Brown for 3 quarters, which I was like, good googly moogly. He takes some steps back, maybe for some play calling, maybe being a freshman, not knowing the plays. If that kid gets right, I think that he'll be good. Maximus Phillips on YouTube says, and I appreciate everybody subscribe to our YouTube channel. Says thoughts on Harold Perkins. If it were from things that I feel, Harold Perkins and his family being a Louisiana guy, I think that LSU has and Blake Baker has a good chance of landing Harold Perkins. That's my opinion. I'm not a huge recruiting guy. You would need to go to your Tiger Baits of the world to see that kind of stuff. I'd have to ask someone like Mike Scarborough. I like recruiting. We follow recruiting. We'll talk about recruiting stories. When I hear something, I'll let you know. As far as being in depth, talking to kids 24/7, guys, I just can't do it. At least not right now. Not until we go full time with this thing. Chelsea Roberts, Barrett Granger, and Mark give us a thumbs up for Monday morning segments of hashtag Rudy Poo of the week. Okay, so we'll implement that. So does Adam and Colin and Jacob. So we'll definitely implement that. Let's get to a couple more of the questions. I see one here from Roderick. He says, hashtag ask Blake, why Phil still don't watch college football? Hey, let me tell you something. You saw what recruiting service he's on now, huh? On3, the new Shannon Terry site. They about to make some waves, dog. Some things you might be subscribed to might not always be there. That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying. Roderick, I did see that Phil Steele put out his top DB units, and he had Alabama and Rudy Poo University, and then another Rudy Poo University, and then had LSU. This is also the same guy in 2019, Phil Steele, who had Texas A&M winning the SEC West. Then he had Texas A&M finishing third or second in the SEC West. He got that one. But, look, he's made some outlandish claims before. But I think Phil Steele does some good stuff. But I think guys, Derek Stingley, Elias Ricks, Jay Ward, McGlothern. I got to be a little honest. I don't know who's going to play slot. Everybody keeps talking about Cardell Flott in the slot. Says whom? Guys, I went this weekend when Ben was sleeping. I was watching the what was it? It wasn't the Alabama game, wasn't Arkansas. The Auburn game, maybe. Just kind of rewatching some stuff. I was watching TJ Finley because I was talking to Jay Boy. We went on with his show, and I was just rewatching TJ Finley in that Auburn game. Just a beatdown. Dude, Cardell Flott has had times where he just gets exposed. Especially when he's got a fast guy in the slot, which is 99.9% of the time. At the end of the season, Bo Pelini and did Bradfield just steal third? Jesus, good googly moogly. I'm worried, guys. I'm worried about Cardell Flott. I don't know if he's, he might rotate. I don't know if he's going to be a guy. Craig Schilling and a lot of people are giving us the thumbs up. Saturday morning, says Chris. Let's do it Monday morning. I don't want to bring that to Saturday. PCG says, what does Alabama allow? Before I go out, because I don't know. So before I go out here and say something, I do not want to give you the wrong information. So I will look into that. But I have seen, and I do remember reading before that it was I think it's one time a semester. I believe it is. Like, guys, one time a semester. Like, I feel like Saban's telling the team, the assistants are telling the team, like, hey, guys, we're getting drug tested on August the 23rd. Mark it on your calendar. Don't do no stupid shit. And I do also believe that they have a stricter policy if you test positive of getting kicked out. If you remember, Tim Williams, a Baton Rouge product, got arrested twice while in Alabama for possession, not arrested twice for possession of marijuana. Not just, what do we got going on here? Get that ass, Chris Lamonis. I really want to know what's going on. Guys, in the comments, let me know what's going on because I can't play the audio. So you guys are going to have to let me know. All right, so they're going to go to the booth. I didn't see what happened. All right, let's do this. Let's get to a very quick break. Very, very quick break. Stay tuned or stand by. We will get to more of your comments, and none better than our good friends over at moinkbox.com. So, guys, you got to go over, guys, free bacon for a year for one buy if you do the it hit him. Yeah, it did hit him. But go over to Moinkbox, free bacon for a year if you get one box. Go put the code in of Believe. So here they are, moinkbox.com. Guys, I got to tell you, I tried Moinkbox for the first time a couple of months ago, or about a month ago, a couple of weeks ago, and I got to tell you how blown away I was by their product. If you don't know what Moinkbox is, it's just like your normal box where they send you food, but it's all meat, it's all good, it's all fresh, steak, chicken, beef, ham, whatever. They're going to send it to you. Go to moinkbox.com today. Join the Moink movement, moinkbox.com/believe. And guess what? All the Believe listeners will get a free year's worth of bacon for every box ordered. Let me say that again. moinkbox.com/believe. And all the listeners that do that will get a free bacon for a year for every box order. Go over to moinkbox.com. That's moinkbox.com. And our good friend, Mr. John Patton, over at GMFS Mortgage. Buying a new home, saving money on the mortgage that you have now, or even doing that cash out refi. The timing has never been better. Get in touch with them today at 225-614-1234. That's 225-614-1234. Tell them your good friend, Mr. Blake Ruffino at AYS, sent you on by. And since it's been raining, our good friend Richie Roche over at Roche's Lawn and Landscape, 225-937-7220. That's 225-937-7220. Best looking yard in your neighborhood? You know who to call. All right. I see we got a lot of comments in here. 2 walks and 2 hit by pitches, and that's going to be another hit by pitch, and that's going to be a run in. So it's tied at 1, bases loaded, 1 out. This isn't looking good. This isn't looking good at all. Father Abear, we got to get Father Abear on the show soon. We'll line that up. He says, hashtag Ask Blake, with fan bases like Mississippi State on the rise, will Coach Jay Johnson put us back over the top? I think that he can. I think he has the ability, and look, he has the resources. And if he doesn't, there's no excuses. There's absolutely no excuses for him not to get you back over the top. So I think the approach that he wants to get guys to do at the plate is a big thing. I could expect Jay Johnson to definitely get us over the top and definitely get us back in Omaha because, guys, he's done it twice in Arizona. And they don't have the resource. They're not pushing the resources. And like Jay Johnson said today, Arizona doesn't have the fan base for college baseball like LSU does. Guys, that's a big deal. When you got go and then those Tigers and a 4-3 game and you need some motivation from your team, goes a long way, man. Tiki Tac Taco on YouTube. The name always gets me. He says, unless things change, at least things have changed dramatically in the last few years, LSU athletes know way ahead of time when the drug tests are scheduled. I wouldn't disagree with that. Guys, we knew at Southeastern about the normal weeks. And once, so either to flush out things that you were taking, and guys, look, I'm always an open book, and I'll even say things about myself. Look, there are things like products that I took it from GNC and things like that to help me trim down, to help me, build muscle. There's things that I've taken, and I knew the month before when I had to flush this stuff out of my system. So it's, if it happened at Southeastern, and I guess I can say that because of just the simple fact that they can't do anything to Southeastern now. RC on Periscope says, I feel Dumerville needs to take one more step in order to win that spot. Well, we haven't really seen him play. I mean, what we saw in the spring game, he was at right tackle, and what can he do at left? I thought he did some good things at right tackle. His guard, Cordell Thomas, gave him no help in the running game whatsoever in that zone blocking scheme. And especially a team, and we're going to get to this too, and something I'm going to talk about, especially from a guy like Tydevis Price, who's trimming down, wants to catch the ball out of the backfield. And look, guys, I'm going to tell you right now, LSU's going to run a pound, and I've said this for 3 months. Nobody believes me, but get ready for it. LSU's going to pound that rock. Let's not get that twisted. LSU off that RPO game, a lot like Alabama, establishing the run. Everybody thinks that, Mac Jones and Tua just threw it all over the place. Yeah, they did throw it all over the place. Najee Harris ran that sumbitch too now. Let's not get that twisted. Oh, that's going to be a base hit. That's going to score 2. Vandy's going to go up 3-1. God, dog. I think college baseball fans are going to get really upset if Vandy wins this one, just because of what happened with NC State. I feel like people are just going to start tuning out. And look, hey, and by the way, that's their catcher. Alex Milazzo would never. I should be quiet because we got a in-state coach. I see some things here. By the way, guys, I've been getting ripped apart on YouTube in the comments about saying that Max Johnson is going to be your starter. Guys, I'm just going to tell you, if you didn't hear me say this Saturday, I'm going to say it again. Okay? I'm going to say this again, and I see Nookie talked about Milazzo. Guys, LSU hired an offensive philosophy that fits Max Johnson. You do understand that, right? Like, they didn't hire an offensive scheme that fits majority of what Miles Brennan does. Sit back in the pocket. Now, they will do it, but they're going to want to run RPO. They're going to want to get Max out of the pocket. Yeah, they're going to want to sit back in the pocket and throw some things around. They're also going to want to run the football. So they hired an entire offensive philosophy around a guy. And a guy like Garrett Nussmeier and Walker Howard, two guys that, guess who they resemble more than Miles Brennan? I mean, Garrett Nussmeier and Walker Howard resemble Max Johnson more than they do Miles Brennan. That's the philosophy that they're going with. Ed has told you he wants to get a mobile quarterback and not a statue back there. Now they've taken some of them in, but that doesn't mean anything. Blake Schilling says, will Harold Perkins commit tomorrow? No, I heard he had an announcement. It looks like he's not committing tomorrow. He just told people he had an announcement. Everybody's like, oh, my God, he's going to A&M. Oh, my God, he's going to LSU. He's not committing tomorrow. Chris Lomax says, #Ask Blake, who's your starting QB this year? Max Johnson, without a question. You start Max Johnson, you don't look back. Miles Brennan transfers, see you, dog. Go dunk hunting. By the way, Trey Varnado, I know you're listening, and I know you're watching right now. Okay, you told me this weekend you're taking me duck hunting. So now I got, let's see, there's 216 people watching this live right now. 216 people are going to keep you accountable. September rolls around, Big Daddy going to be in a duck blind. Hayden says, #Ask Blake, do you think it makes it any easier if Max is your guy? Absolutely. Absolutely. Since your blind side will still be shored up with that being shored up by Austin Deculus. Absolutely, it changes everything. Guys, it changes the philosophy completely. I mean, that is not Max Johnson's blind side. So you could have a guy like Cam Ward. You could have a guy like Dumerville, where it's not going to be as yes, it's going to be a big deal, but it's not going to be as much of a big deal. It would be right tackle. It's not going to be the blind side. I agree with Hayden there. It does change things, and it does make look. It's going to make Max a lot better. Somebody told me today that Max Johnson had a horrible spring game. No, he didn't. Says who? Guys, he went 7 of 7 in the second half with 2 touchdowns for 120 yards and ran for 4 yards and I think 4 yards for like 37 yards in the second half. That's not bad. I'm sorry to tell you guys, 7 for 7 in the second half for 120 yards, 2 touchdowns. By the way, 2 of those plays were RPOs, and then he ran the ball for 4 carries for 37 yards. I'm sorry to let you know that's not bad. So if you're a big spring game guy, which I'm not, if you're a big spring game guy, then explain Florida and Ole Miss. I'll wait. T. Swanson on Twitter says, where do you think that Dair Rosenthal will land? I tell you, Baylor makes a lot of sense. Baylor makes a whole hell of a lot of sense with Dave Aranda. They need some offensive linemen. They need a lot of depth at offensive line. So Baylor makes a lot of sense. He knows Dair, has probably been a part of him and helping him recruit and stuff like that. So we'll see. Derek says Dwight McGlothern is going to be locked down. I think that kid's extremely talented. They got to get out of here. 2 outs. You got to throw this kid a strike. Eric Wright says, go duck hunting. Hey man, you gonna take me duck hunting. I'm just gonna let you know right now, they're gonna take my Rudy Poo big ass duck hunting. After LSU puts the smacketh down on UCLA's candy ass, I wish they were playing Oregon so I could say we did nothing but kill ducks all weekend. That's what I do. Dorian says that ranting Rudy Poo Reamer. He'd love to share them all week. Okay, let's just do them on Mondays for now and see how that takes off. We'll do that. Actually, you know what? We'll do that tomorrow. Let's do it tomorrow, and then we'll see how it goes, and then we'll pick it back up. And if it goes well, we'll continue to do it. Chris Barnhill says, "Why the heck are y'all pulling for State?" Well, one, they've never won a national title. It does hurt LSU in recruiting, as we've seen when they succeed. I do. Although it's not the Vandy players' fault nor the coaching staff. Oh, that's going to be another base hit. Run's going to score. It's going to be 4-1 Vandy. Did two runs just score there? No, that's just one run, right. This kid's about to get pulled. Mainly because it just feels like it feels like NC State should be there. It feels like NC State should be in the national championship game. God, Vandy's struggled offensively all series long. They're not tonight. They are not tonight. What a hell of a time to pull it to pull your offense out of a hat. They're crushing this kid. They're absolutely crushing this kid. Justin LaGrange says, okay, poll, what is more annoying, Vandy Whistler or Mississippi State Cowbells? Okay, that'd be a good poll. That'd be a really good poll. What's interesting? I see this about Max Johnson in the comments, a couple on Facebook and YouTube. What is people's issue with Max Johnson starting over Miles Brennan? That I just don't get. Like, guys, when I tell you I got my ass handed to me and from people that aren't using basic logic, I mean, there are, it's kind of like Miles Brennan is an unsung, done-nothing folk hero. But he's like the Davy Crockett of LSU. This guy's a living legend. God, you would think that I'd said something wrong about Joe Burrow and his white teeth. Yup, in my white teeth. All in the club, shining my white teeth, says Joe Burrow with his veneers. Brandon Reed says, I want to see linebackers and safeties get back to making plays and flying around. You're going to get that. Look, and we talked about this last week with Durante Jones. This is going to be a violent defense now. This is going to be a very violent defense. The question will be is how they come together and how they communicate. I don't want to say it's as easy as fixing something as communicating last year, but guys, again, when you're getting man-to-man coverage confused, you are lost. Here's another thing, and people put so much ridicule on the spring and spring practices. The spring game don't mean two Rudy Poos to me. The practices do, and I know I might sound like a coach, but guys, you got to practice. O-line, D-line, linebacker, secondary, quarterbacks. You got to practice to get down timing, to get down rhythm. Guys, there's nothing that advances you more than going out there and practicing. Now, games will give you more experience. Practice is where you gain your knowledge and your tools. Nothing gives you more experience than 100% going after somebody and trying to move a 300-pound man that's standing in front of you. Getting the technique down and getting an understanding down on the offense or defense is everything in advancing in this game. So with LSU not having a spring last year and everything that they had to replace, now they're not having to replace as much. Does LSU, how much does it benefit LSU? You're going to find out. You're sure as hell going to find out. Really interesting. A lot of people are debating inside the comment about the Cowbells or the Whistlers. I played in Starkville. There's nothing more annoying than those Cowbells. I mean, guys, I still feel like I have a headache. Couple more, we'll get out of here. Good pitch. Jeremy Fontana says, just getting here. What happened to Dair Rosenthal in the transfer portal? Got beat out. Weed. Failed the drug test. Blake Doucette says, hashtag Ask Blake. It seems Vandy is well rested. That they are. That they are. Can't wait for the lawsuit between the NCAA and NC State and NC against the rules on testing. You know, man, this is going to be interesting. It feels like Vandy doesn't belong there, right? Did that girl just get hit by the ball? That girl looked like that blonde comedian. Hey, y'all. My name's Caroline. I go to Mississippi State University. Go Dogs. Hi, guys. This is Caroline from Mississippi State. And I say, go Bulldogs. Yippee-ki-yay. Stephen Frey says, nothing more embarrassing than getting pulled in the first. Ugh. Yeah, that's true. That's very true. Kurt Paul says, Max Johnston give you the best upside to win. That he does. And he's going to be able to run. Chelsea Roberts says, people need to stop with the attachment to Brennan. If we were to lose, people would call for his head. Yeah, they would. And the truth is, you've never seen him play long stints of time. Kid's always been hurt. Henry Pugh says, my biggest take from Durante Jones is that he makes great in-game adjustments. Well, we have to see about that. We don't know what his in-game adjustments are going to be in the SEC. We don't know what he's going to do. We have to find that out. I don't know, Henry, if we know that yet. I will tell you, again, the philosophy that this guy is doing and some of the things that he's already shown, if that's his base defense, God help every SEC quarterback. That ball's gone. Ball game. Oh, by the way, guys, very quickly, that's Vandy's 9-hole hitter. So when I was bitching all season long, saying all these different Rudy Poos, guys, that's Vandy's 9-hole hitter. By the way, he's from the West Coast. Understand what I'm saying right now. 9-hole hitter just hit a 3-run bomb from the West Coast. This slider, he just missed it. He threw a slider in, low and in, and I mean, it got blasted. It's ball game. Watch Mississippi State. Every time I say something bad about Mississippi State baseball, because I said I thought they were going to be two in barbecue, and they proved me wrong. Guys, Vandy scored 7 runs in the first inning. Unreal. That's ball game. Every time I say that, though, and say something negative about Mississippi State baseball, they always prove me to look like an idiot. I don't think I'm going to be looking like an idiot here. Guys, I mean, it's going to be tough to come back from that. All right. Well, we'll continue to monitor and continue to watch. Richard says, #Ask Blake, your prediction for football record this year. I think that it's easy for me to say that LSU goes 9-3. If you have the issues with Dair Rosenthal leaving, we've had the pictures that popped up on Twitter of Glenn Logan. I mean, I think that this team can go 9-3, and I'm not going to bat an eye at saying that. I do think that this team has the talent and experience to make things happen. Now, I think LSU is a couple key plays away in key situations. Guys, they can win the SEC West. It's not far-fetched. They had the talent last year. They had a lot of off-field issues. They had a lot of talent last year, not a lot of experience. With the talent and experience that this team has this year, if you look up and LSU's undefeated and Alabama's undefeated, it's not going to surprise me one iota. Not a doubt. And I have a lot of confidence in Max Johnson. All right, guys, we will see y'all tomorrow. Let's do the Rudy Poo of the week tomorrow. So get your Rudy Poos of the week ready, and we'll do them tomorrow. All right, guys, y'all have a good night. Peace out, Girl Scouts.